So a couple of weeks ago I did a video on a game called Kamiko. Since I'm sure you hang off my every word, you obviously bought it yourself immediately afterward, and you're probably wondering if I have any other amazing underrated game suggestions. Well, in doing research for that video, I found out that the same person who developed Kamiko actually had another game for the Switch, the Fairune collection. It comes with 3 games and a secret 4th game that you unlock after you finish the first 3. Apparently the first was originally released for mobile and then at some point on the 3DS. The 3DS version was released in 2014, but I think the mobile version was released at some point before that. I can't really find much information about it online. The Nintendo Switch collection includes the first game, the second much longer game, and a much shorter prequel that I think is more story-centered. I had a $10 Nintendo Switch gift card at the time, and I really enjoyed Kamiko, so I figured I'd give Fairune a try. Fairune is advertised as an adventure RPG. Your goal is to collect 3 statues, a fire statue, a water statue, and an air statue. I was initially disappointed. When I first started playing it, honestly, it just didn't seem like something I would be into. I'm not exactly sure what I expected from a mobile game port, but something about it just put me off. There isn't any actual combat. The combat system is entirely level-based. To fight a monster, you literally just walk into or touch it from any angle. Instead, the combat works on a level system. Every enemy type has a level. If you're the same level as an enemy, you'll kill it, take 1 damage, and gain 1 experience. If the monster is a lower level than you, you'll just kill it. You don't take any damage, and you don't get any experience. And if the monster is a higher level than you, then you won't be able to kill it at all, and you'll just take damage. This combat system was obviously built to be accessible for people playing with touch controls. I guess this is the RPG element they talk about. Honestly, I think RPG is a bit of a strong word. Have you ever played Zelda? This is that. I'm not saying that is a bad thing either. Zelda is awesome, and you know what? The combat system grew on me. I gave it a chance, and it surprised me. There are several secret items that you can get that make leveling up easier too, by doing stuff like halving the amount of damage you take or doubling your EXP, which helps a lot. It doesn't hurt that I really like the enemies too. A lot of the monsters from this game also appeared in Kamiko, which I think is really cool. Since there isn't really a combat system, different enemies don't really do anything. It's pretty much just a cosmetic change, but that's okay, the game really isn't long enough for you to get bored with them. And the art style is still awesome. If Kamiko felt like an NES or SNES game, Fairune feels like a Game Boy or Game Boy Color game. I really liked how Kamiko didn't try to convince you it was actually a retro game, but rather embraced modern improvements while still using a retro art style. Fairune definitely conforms a bit more strictly to the retro feel, but there's nothing wrong with that. It looks fantastic. For such a small game, there's a lot of variety in scenery too. There's the standard overworld, cave systems, the nether, the ether, the end, you know. I wish we could have explored these cool computer worlds a bit more. What you see on screen is literally all we ever see of them. I don't know, maybe in the sequel. As for the difficulty level, not really. The only way you can really die is if you aren't paying attention to your health bar at all. Every time you level up, your health bar gets a little bigger and you're put back at full health, so... And I mean, even if you do die, you don't lose any progress. You just have to walk back to where you were before. As for the difficulty of the puzzles, it's pretty moderate. Nothing you shouldn't be able to figure out on your own with a little patience. But just the right level of cryptic to make someone like me constantly anxious I forgot something or left something behind. The final boss fight is actually genuinely quite difficult. It took me 10 tries the first time around, but it's super short. It physically pains me to abuse my controller like this though, so it might be a good idea to use a controller with a turbo button if you have one. Fairune is pretty short. I finished my first playthrough in only 3.5 hours, but if you're a completionist like me, there's still quite a bit more for you to enjoy. For starters, you'll need to make sure you've spotted all of the rare enemies. This is super easy, and you might even see most or all of them while you're grinding levels throughout the game. But after this, they start getting a bit more difficult. You'll have to beat the game without dying. Like I said earlier, this isn't that bad if you just pay attention to your health bar. The main problem with the deathless run is the final boss. The game saves automatically after you die, so if you choke here, you have to restart the entire run. Honestly, it was pretty manageable with a little bit of practice. I got it done on my first try. The final two achievements are speed related. You'll have to beat the game in under 2 hours, which is super easy if you've already finished it once. I managed to get this one during my super careful deathless run, so it should not give you any issues. It's the final achievement that really gave me a run for my money. Beat the game in under an hour. At first it seemed impossible. How could speedrunning a game with so much grinding be any fun? But I decided to go for it, and after a little bit of planning and routing beforehand, I was on pace to finish with minutes to spare. And then I died on the final boss. Yeah, I was mad. I must have played that final boss 20 more times to finish it with the absolute perfect execution. It was incredibly tight, but I refused to start the whole run over. That is, of course, until the game respectfully informed me that the credits count towards your completion time. The unskippable final credits add a solid 2 minutes to your overall time. I'm not gonna lie, I rage quit for like 3 hours. I really did not want to have to play the entire game for a 4th time. But a couple of hours later, I was over it and back to playing again. I finished the run in well under an hour, easily netting the achievement. I had so much fun getting my time down that when I found out that there was a built-in online leaderboard, I did a 5th run just to get on. And it was a lot of fun. I may have shot over my goal a little bit though. I can now officially say that I am the 63rd fastest person to ever beat Fairune on the planet, which I guess is pretty cool. And that's the thing about Fairune. You wouldn't expect it from an adventure game, let alone one advertising itself as an RPG, but it has the same kind of effect as a retro-style platformer, where it's short enough that it's fun to play over and over again, just to watch yourself get better. I had a ton of fun with Fairune, and I easily got 10 hours of play out of it. Not bad for a $10 game, and it's not even $10, you also get 3 other longer games, which I absolutely can't wait to play. Do yourself a favor and check out the Fairune collection. It's on the Switch eStop and Steam. But if you can't play on either of those platforms, the first 2 games are still available on the Nintendo 3DS eShop. I'm sure the whole mobile game is also out there somewhere, but I can't endorse downloading anything sketchy. This was by far the worst recording session of my life. There's like freaking construction work going on outside, and my microphone can pick up a conversation that's being had down the hall with 100% accuracy, so it was not a good time recording this script. I would really appreciate it if you're watching this and you're not already subscribed, if you could do that so I can get to 500 subscribers and get my tinfoil play button. That would be awesome. Also, follow me on Twitter. I'm trying to be a lot more active over there on Twitter, so that would be cool. Twitch, I stream on there sometimes, I guess. Instagram, I guess, would still be considered my primary social media platform besides YouTube. And, you know, ring the bell if you want to be notified of my videos, or just come back every Saturday, because I upload a new video every Saturday at like the same time, so it's not that hard to keep up with. But I guess that's about it. Thanks as always for watching.